After setting up the avatar tank, we had success! Our Plecos have finally continued to breed! Yes! This will be our third brood of Pleco babies, but to get them ready, we need to build this thing right up here. This is our Pleco egg incubator, and we are going to teach you guys how to make one. Alrighty, our avatar fish tank is looking good. We've got to trim some of those weeds. And we've got this obnoxious bubbler here in the middle because we had to switch out our smaller, less obnoxious looking bubbler for an egg incubator. And so we're keeping them separate, not only to keep them safe from the guppies, but also to keep all the babies in one place once they hatch because they are teeny tiny. The mother is a calico red bristlenose Plecoctomus, and over here you can see the tail of the father and one of his daughters. The daughter is a green dragon calico. Now the dad is just green dragon, but they look pretty similar. We can't wait to see how these eggs turn out, but we have watched numerous attempts for this guy, our super red bristlenose Plecoctomus, to try and coax the female to lay some more eggs. Her laying a second clutch so soon is actually a probable thing. The female Plecoctomuses will lay eggs rather frequently, and the males stay and care for the eggs and the young. Now normally, we took the eggs from Dragon, which is the dad over here, and he was inside one of these hides guarding the eggs. He'll stand over the eggs and fan his fins to make sure they have enough air, and he will clean them because he's a sucker fish, so he'll clean them pretty well. And he'll do this until the eggs hatch, and for a week or so after, until the eggs have fully absorbed, well, until the fry have fully absorbed their yolk. And then the fry are allowed to go out on their own, but they often stay with him for a little bit longer. We call this guy Big Red. This one down here is a green dragon, so we call him Dragon, of course. And here are the babies. This is everything you're going to need to build your own fish egg incubator. Now do your research with every fish. This is specifically for bristlenose Plecoctomus eggs, and it varies from fish to fish, so don't expect this to be universal. However, this does great for bristlenose Plecoctomus. So what we have is an aerator, some air stones, and some tubing. That's a given. All fish need that. You're also going to want a suction cup, this foam stuff, and a container. Now we wanted to go a little bit more fancy, make it look a little bit nicer, but traditionally, rather than using this container, which was only $1, and this was $1, and this was free because it was a piece of our old fish tank filter, these were about $6 together. But for a traditional container, to chop it down $1, we often use seasoning containers. So once this is empty, we'll use it, and just the same that we'd use this container. However, if you do use a seasoning container, there's a few things you need to watch out for. For instance, the top. You need to make sure it's got the right top. Now this seasoning container actually does not have the right top. Instead, you want a top like this, that opens at the top and has very little holes. These little holes aren't necessarily needed, but I like them just as an added precaution to make sure that the eggs can't fall through. So here's the container we're going to use today that I'm actually going to show you on, because I prefer to do them out of these because it's cheap, it's easy, and it has some of the features I want already built in. So what you want when picking a container to use is, I like plastic because it's easy to melt and mold, and then you want clear so you can keep an eye on the eggs. If a mold or a fungus grows on the eggs, you can often take off the few eggs that have that mold, and then they're fine to be thrown away, and the other eggs might have a chance to survive. So we like clear so we can keep an eye on the eggs. I like a narrow mouth, and then you want a top that opens and closes like this and has really small holes. The smaller the holes, the less likely the eggs are to fall out. Now we have a secondary precaution against that, but I like the holes anyways. Wash your container super well, and then take a nice hot knife and add some holes. The first hole you need is one straight through the top, This hole is going to be for the aeration. We're going to stick the air tube right down the middle of it. Almost there. Perfect. That should be just about the right size for the hole. Now to test and make sure it's right, we're going to stick our pumice stone in. Sweet. That looks like it should fit perfect, so the tubing for the air hose can go right in. We'll stick that in there like that, and voila, it'll look great. The next hose you want is one for your suction cup. Now you want to keep this hole smaller than the end of your suction cup, so then your suction cup has a way to hold itself in. Almost there. Ooh, that looks beautiful. Yep, so now we can fit our suction cup in, and it's not going to easily come out. The next holes you want are going to be all over up in the top here. Now you want a bunch of these because this is where the gas exchange is going to happen. You poke plenty of holes up, so then when the bubble stone puts up bubbles and the oxygen comes up, it's going to seep up through these holes. And as it seeps up through these holes, it's going to pull more oxygenated water out of the tank and up through the incubator. As it does this, the eggs, which will lie right about here, are going to be constantly flowed with oxygenated water. They won't dry up because they aren't oxygen, but the oxygenated water will be perfect to keep them happy, healthy. The flow of water actually helps to keep them clean a little bit too. But that oxygen for them is critical. So make sure there's plenty of holes. If you don't get enough holes in the top, you can always add more. But you always want enough holes that all of the oxygen from the bubbler is able to escape through the top. That looks so good. So now we'll do the last thing that we require our hot knife for, and that's cut this up. Just take your knife and subtly chop off the top. Ta-da! Beautiful. Alrighty, here's the next step, which is quite simple. You want to take your foam. This is extra foam from one of our old fish tank filters. We cut it to as thin as we want. You can honestly use probably about half as that thick, but we're going to leave extra for caution. And then you want to cut it to the size of your salt lid. Once that's cut, you stick it down the bottom, and this is going to be your extra net of protection to ensure that the Pleco eggs don't fall out down below. Because again, we're doing this not only to keep track of all of our new baby Plecos, but to protect them from the other fish, like the rival male or our guppies, which seem absolutely voracious at this time. And then, check that out. Fits just great. Next, we're going to want to attach the air stone. Alright, so the easiest way to do this is to stick the stone down inside the top hole you made, the larger hole we made at the top. We'll stick it all the way down until we can reach it with our hands. And from there, we will connect the bubble stone and pull it right back up as tight as possible. Beautiful, should work perfect. So you have to be really fragile with your Pleco eggs. When you take them out very gently. Keep all of this underwater, and you'll just plop the eggs inside the incubator, screw on the top, turn it up this way, connect your hose to the aerator, and then suction cup it to the side of your tank right there on the inside. So much for watching the video this week. It was a lot of fun making the egg incubator. Now, comment down below what your guys' favorite spices are, because this is definitely our favorite spice, because we run out of garlic salt a lot. But comment your favorite spice. Also, comment, let's try and guess what day you guys think the eggs will hatch. Keep an eye on our Facebook and our Instagram, where we will post daily pictures of the Plecos and show you how well the eggs are progressing.